I feel like we are all an illuminating jellyfish.
And then all of a sudden she touched the front of her head. She went, oh, I think I'm gonna faint. And with that she collapsed in my arms and fell to the floor. Straight away I knew something was serious. Bodily functions went. And then I just started screaming, get an ambulance.
I do not recall anything with the operations at all. But I just remember having this very clear image of seeing my granddad sitting at the side of me and my daughter's dad at the end of the bed and somebody in the middle, but I cannot recall who that was. And them saying, you have to go back. And I said, but I'm fine. This is really nice. And just the feeling I had was unexplainable, of relief, everything. No pressure, no worries, no concern, absolutely nothing. It was just like everything had been lifted. What seemed like seconds was 4.5 weeks later when I woke up. So it was just this radiant white glow around the whole of me. Yeah, and then shaking the heads and saying, go back, go back, go back. I would go, no, no, no. But then I woke up and I was back. Oh, here we go again.
Obviously, a very scary thing, waiting to see whether she'd come out of the surgery okay.
When I first woke up, all I remember is there's something wrong with my head. Because I felt, it was just really tight. So automatically, I think my hand kind of felt these strange clips in my head.
I suppose she had the metal clips. I remember sitting in the waiting room, which was literally just round the corner from the room where she was. 3 parts of her brain was covered in blood. And then we had word that she had come out of theatre and she was back in intensive care.
Yeah, I was in a coma for just over 4 weeks. And it was like I had to rethink about everything.
One by one, we took it in turns to go see her. Shocked at the sight, really, because she was all wired up and they'd shaved her hair.
The same year, 6 months later, and I had an angio scan. And they found out that they did not stop the bleeding, so they said I would have to go back and have further surgery. They did a further recoiling, but then they woke me up after that and said, sorry, it was unsuccessful, so you're going to have to come back and have open brain surgery. So yeah, they called me a year to the day when I first collapsed, so it was in January again, and said you're going to have to come back in on this date, which was a day, exactly the same day as the year before. So I went in, and they did say there was like 30% chance of survival.
Yeah, she was on life support.
Yeah.
And they'd put a drain into her brain to drain the blood away.
Yeah. Then I woke up and then I was just being sick. But my head, it looked like I'd gone 10 rounds with Mike Tyson. My head was like a balloon. But yeah, most of my memory was kind of destroyed. And when I started to remember anything or recall any information is, when you look into the mirror and you see yourself looking back at you, if that makes sense. And you're thinking, is that how I look? Or is that, so it's like I had to learn how to see myself and to see other people, and at the same time as curb what I was thinking, because I would speak out loud. not meaning to offend anybody. It would just be my first initial thought, you know, of what I thought about people. And sometimes it would be kind of shocking, you know, that I'd have to put my hand over my mouth and I think, oh, did I just say that? You know, because you don't want to insult anybody, but it's just, I couldn't help my mind and my mouth. I had to kind of learn how to bring the balance again, you know, and think before I speak, so to speak. Yeah. So, and even learning my own tone and how loud I was talking and how quiet. So I had to learn everything from walking, moving my body, the way I appeared to people and what my thought pattern was. And the only way I could kind of do that was to focus all my ideas and put it into art.
She had to learn things all over again. Walking, she had the problem with just daily routine tasks.
Well, people would visit me in hospital and when I first got home. And it took a while to register who anybody was, you know, and who they were to me before.
Well, I think when you go through brain injuries anyway, you have to go through the process of recovery, and then obviously you have to find your new self, which I think Cheryl has found her new self.
I remember traumatic events, and I remember always, you know, having a passion or a love of the art, and it kind of stirred something in me, you know, seeing different body shapes, seeing different building shapes, structures, landscapes, the sceneries and sunsets, and just all, I don't know, made me feel in awe.
Cheryl always loved art, so I knew that was a way that would be good for her. So she used all her ability to focus on art to help her get through the bad times, to encourage the good times.
So I went back to college and done my first year in arts practice. I then went on to do commercial art and design degree at uni. So, and I completed that. It was a bit of a struggle because my operation was at the beginning of that year. And all throughout, I would continuously suffer with headaches, like severe headaches that were so intense they felt I would die. You know, it was, I cannot explain. It's just, it's more intense than what a migraine to me is mild. But I'm not just, you know, I'm not going to debate on that one. But for me personally, how that felt was, yeah, like death, like being on the edge of a cliff. Anyway, so yeah, throughout all of the headaches, I kind of struggled on and continued, and I wouldn't be beaten. So I then went on to do my BA honours in art, and I kind of completed that one. I think, you know, when you've come through an ordeal or an operation so severe, and, you know, having to relearn everything again, I think it was mainly about expressing my own identity. I don't know how to put it into words. First of all, I had to find out who I was as a person and my own body, and, you know, that kind of fascinated me, you know, and how miraculously my brain kind of recovered from an injury or an operation so severe. So yeah, my own body fascinated me. I'm not saying in that kind of narcissistic way. I'm just talking in a sense, you know, the form and the shape and how, you know, miracles can happen and how we're all programmed to think or wired to think. So I try to kind of represent or see colours or put colours, or it's like seeing an aura around somebody, and you want to try to express that.
I had to put on a brave face.
For me, to begin with, I wanted to express myself. And when I found myself, I could then express other things. So for me, I had to start the basics, and for me, that was by covering myself in paint and transferring that onto canvas and seeing the different colours merge from that and what it kind of represented. I mean, you could see so many different things going on, like an alien coming out of the stomach, kind of just all different shapes. So that's where I started then becoming more interested in different shapes. So shapes emerged from that. So it's from the bodies, from the forms we kind of carry, from day to day. And everyone sees something differently, and you cannot take that away from anybody. So as I started to heal, I started to view shapes in a different way to what I believe other people, how they view them. We are all connected by some form of shape. But beyond that, what is that? I don't know. To portray something and to let somebody else's imagination run with that, I think is great. If you've actually made somebody think about, the shape or something they've seen, that's great, because it just stimulates the brain. And I think it was to do with my brain, and my brain needed stimulating, and that's what stimulates me, is seeing different shape. And I think everybody does in their own way, whether it is landscape, whether it's animals, whether it's people, whether it's building structures, anything, there is shape connected somewhere. I started collecting images from everything I see, what inspires me, what kind of motivates my brain, stimulates my brain, everything we see. I love shape in all forms, on a bigger scale, on a smaller scale, it doesn't matter what that shape is. I think it's all within that actually counts, and the energy or the colour you see, that should resonate with somebody, whether it's a healing form, an uplifting form. Just there are colours and shapes that kind of make people feel, I don't know, more alive. Relationships can sometimes really get to you, and the only way I wanted to feel good in myself, so I kind of started to do modelling. And I enjoyed some of the sessions, but some of the sessions or journeys I'd made were not worth it at all. And yet again, you'd be faced with people trying it on, and it just made me feel uncomfortable. But it doesn't matter what abuse you encounter or what someone tries to take from you, you can still get up, choose to get up and go right there and have it. Wherever you want is yours. And I've done other forms of trying to represent the human form by being a muse, and I do love sitting for artists. I've sat with several artists, including Brewer Tidman, Mark Cater and Catherine Falcon. I could name a few, Diana Lamb. So I've sat with a few people, and they have all inspired me by viewing their work, and I just see the marks they've made. And again, this is not in a narcissistic way. I just like to see the shapes that people create and how they view, somebody else. And, because I know that that moment can never be captured again. So what they've captured is what they view at that time. And to me, it's all in an instant nature. Everything about doing life modelling, to me, you know, is done innocently. And, you know, my mind wanders in so many different locations while I am sitting there and being drawn. But at the same time, when I get up to view the work, I'm again taken to another place and in awe of the work they have created, and I am fascinated by, again, shape. So yeah, so from being a muse, I then wanted to do body paint, and again, I love the colours they kind of apply onto me, and it feels great and invigorating for a woman to, you know, transform into a character mode and be someone different. I just think that's something so unique, so great, you know, fascinating and captivating. Like, you know, to showcase somebody else's work is fantastic. And their artwork is amazing. I am fully aware that other people will look at my work and say it's, you know, done erotically or in a sexy nature, or I've done it for the attention of others and things like that. It couldn't be further from the truth. I do things for my own expression, my own feeling, and how I want to explore all avenues without trying to encourage or lure anybody into this false sense of, you know, eroticism, whatever it is. I wanted to explore all aspects of art, and the only way I could actually feel like I was representing or even being good at was if I was in that scene to begin with. So for the modelling, I had to feel what it was like in order to portray that back onto canvas. I need to feel how that is. I think it's really important to feel that, you know, just the emotion. And it's not easy being a muse, what people, you know, you're just sitting there. It's actually, it can actually be really hard, you know, because you're having to, I don't know, you train your brain into thinking of different things so you're not getting tired and your body's aching, and you're, you know, staying in one position is very hard and it puts strain on your body. But again, I had to feel what that's like in order to portray that back on canvas. And yeah, to me it is important to feel both sides, you know. I'm not for everybody, I'm just talking about my own personal view, is that if I was going to be good at anything, I had to feel what it was like on the other side. The only way for me after that was, what else can I do that, you know, I could be good at? And I always loved film, so I thought, yeah, let's try film work. So I kind of applied to agencies and they took me on, and it was only about a month later that I got into TV work and being an extra for a documentary series. Yeah, and I loved it. I loved the food. The food is the best thing about working on set. It really is. I believe I am ready to start exploring how I've felt through all those stages of going from photography, being a life model, being a model for body paint and film work. You know, now I'm able to grasp how it feels, so I'm able to transfer that onto canvas, you know, with having that fresh in my mind and knowing the feeling and, you know, the agony of my body and what it kind of goes through. So yes, it's just being inspired. I'm inspired by having gone through everything. So now I sit there, and because I'm quite a spiritual person, and I want to be able to connect with people. The way I kind of can do that is if I sit there blindfolded and I allow my mind to see the picture fast. You know, it doesn't happen quickly. It can take 20 to 30 minutes, depending on how relaxed I am. You know, and once I get the image, you know, I can start feeling for the paint that is placed in front of me, and then feel the energy and transfer that onto the board that is also in front of me. And yeah, just get a feel for what I see, basically. Yeah, and then I'll remove my blindfold after, I don't know, 10, 20 minutes after that. And then I'll see what marks I've kind of made, but I still have the vision that I saw when I was blindfolded, and I can work with that using my hands, or, you know, on occasion I might use the brush, but most of the pictures are now done just using my hands, because I feel a better connection, you know, with the different materials and mediums, you know, and the energy that comes from that. I just think it's a better way to kind of view something or feel something. I don't know if it works for people, but I'm hoping someone will be able to get something from that. I'm positive, so I want to represent that and try and uplift people by, you know, when they see my work as such. You know, some people may say it's quite simple, but is it? Is it really? I do spend a long time gazing at my own work. You know, there's always something you can add, but, you know, when would that end at the same time? You know, I think, oh, I could add something there, I could add something there. But that's the thing about life, I think, in general. It's just, there could always be something else. There could always be something else. So I've always been fascinated with trees. Again, it's to do with shape, but it's just, you know, how far their roots actually go and travel, and, you know, it's like life itself, you know. The roots of our life, our lives. Yeah, there's crossroads everywhere. You know, the roots that kind of get tangled or kind of go off in different directions, well, that can be our life too. So, to me, trees hold something magical and so important, you know, for us to kind of find ourselves with or connect with. Yeah, I just love all the shapes that they kind of make. So, yeah, they're a big inspiration to me. Trees extend from the top, but they also extend from the bottom. So it's like life, what happens after life itself. So it can expand anywhere or go off in any direction. The same as underneath, you know. There's something about dead trees. I don't know whether it's the colour or whether it's just the shell that's kind of left here. You know, but it holds so much information still, as life itself. You know, we are just a shell ourselves, but there's some energy within that kind of keeps us going, and once that goes, where does it go? Like trees, you know, it's very much the same. What happens? Can it come back? We are just shells. You know, inwardly, who are we? You know, you could be beautiful to some people, but the moment you speak can alter that, you know, especially if you're an unkind, unloving, you know, you're not compassionate. It just appears differently to everybody. So I don't know, I would just love people to have a balance and find kindness and compassion in their heart and do something to encourage and uplift other people, instead of sitting, you know, wallowing in your own self-pity and being bitter about different things that you haven't got. Or, you know, be thankful for what you do have in life and work with that and make something of that, and then you will shine. And I don't think there is anything greater than that. I don't think any of that could have been possible if it wasn't for the help of my mother. So I would just like to say thank you to my mother for everything she's done. I never answered the question. I just go off on my own little tangent and think, well, yeah. Right, food. I'm hungry.